You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
If you prefer real mornings, shouldn't you have a real breakfast? At McDonald's, we get real about breakfast. That's why you can have a savory sausage biscuit with delicious hash browns for only $1.50. It's time to wake up breakfast. Single item at regular price. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, I drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
A new year means it's time for a new home network that can keep up. With Cox Internet, you have the speed and coverage your family needs to stay connected. You'll enjoy Cox's fiber-based hybrid network with options for fast upload and download speeds. And if your household has lots of connected devices, Panoramic Wi-Fi may be the perfect fit thanks to its additional control features. Plus, with advanced security on Panoramic Wi-Fi, you'll know each connected device is securely protected 24/7. A whole world of connectivity is yours with Cox Internet. Learn more at Cox.com.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
I take a breath, I'm not gonna lose. This is what I came here to do.
Keep on doing what you do, Rick. You're my favorite host. Favorite host.
I was made for this. I was made for this. Born in the wild, formed in the fire, built for the battle. I was made for this. I was made for this. Mind over matter, silence the doubters. I have the power. I was made for this.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
It's time to hear the truth about America's biggest challenges. You're listening to America Off the Rails with your host, Rick Robinson.
Good evening, America. Welcome to the program. It seems so weird listening to that intro and then not playing the Wednesday night thing because we're not on Wednesday nights anymore. So yeah, if you're new here or you're confused, this is normally when you would hear the whatever show. However, that has now moved to Chat Lives Matter night. Same time, same remainder of the lineup. We just moved that one primarily because Stacy's schedule keeps changing and it just makes her life a little bit easier. Plus, she kind of liked the idea of having a set hour instead of the flex schedule that we do over here on Thursday nights, because sometimes it's an hour, sometimes it's an hour and a half. Tonight will be an hour and a half. I honestly thought about bumping it to 6:30 so I could eat first, but I didn't want to short you guys 30 minutes. But then again, I've already done 2 hours today, and I have another hour to do later. But yeah, I love you guys, which is why I'm always working. Always working. That, and I'm a workaholic. It's probably why I've been divorced twice. I kind of get tunnel vision when I start working because it's like the only thing I really focus on. I think that's why my ex-wives wound up hating me so much. But it is what it is, because now I don't have to listen to them bitch. And, yeah, the moral of that story is apparently now Fresh Meat's in trouble now, too, because they were supposed to have been married last month, and nobody knows why they haven't been. Anyway, that's all I'm saying about that, because that's not my circus, not my monkeys, and it's not my tea to spill, because I don't really know anything one way or the other. Anyway, so good evening, everybody. Welcome to the America Off the Rails program. I am Rick Robinson. Again, this is our new home, Thursday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern. Every other Thursday will be 60 minutes. The Thursdays that aren't will be 90, unless I decide to go crazy and you know, slide it forward 30 minutes so I can eat first. I haven't made that determination yet. Anyway, so for tonight, we're going to do 90. That much I already know, because we already started, and I already have people starting to funnel into the chat. So I'm not going to make them come back in 20 minutes. I seriously thought about it, though. No, I'm just playing. Alright, so, first things first, because I have it on relatively good authority that these things are not supposed to happen. Hang on, I'm looking for an article that I just had that now I can't seem to find, and I don't know where it went. What happened? Oh, I know why. Hang on. It's because I was in the wrong browser. So the thing, when you do as many things as I do, sometimes you wind up, having more than one browser type open because it just helps things run smoother for some reason. So yeah, the one that I was looking for, anyway. So I found it now. So this is from our, I used to call them my friends, but there's some weird stuff going on over there, so our relationship may not be as friendly soon. But anyway, this is from The Blaze. Dateline today, November 2nd, from Courtney Weil. A judge overturned the results of a Democrat primary in Connecticut mayoral race after allegations of voter fraud. I was relatively assured those kind of things didn't happen. I'm just saying. So a judge has overturned the results of the Democrat primary for the mayoral race in Bridgeport, Connecticut, after viewing compelling evidence of, gasp, voter fraud. His ruling creates chaos for the general election that is scheduled to take place in just a few days. On September 12th, incumbent Bridgeport Mayor Joe Ganim narrowly edged out challenger John Gomez by a mere 251 vote margin in the Democrat primary. Primary election day ballots favored Gomez, but after absentee ballots were tallied later that evening, Ganim prevailed over Gomez 4,212 votes to 3,961. Within days, the Gomez camp was crying foul, posting a video to Facebook that appeared to show Wanda Gator Pataki, sorry, I'm probably butchering that one, a city employee and a long-standing supporter of Mayor Ganim, stuffing a ballot box outside of City Hall with absentee ballots. The Gomez campaign later issued similar allegations against Eneida Martinez, a former city council member who also supports the incumbent mayor. Gomez then filed a lawsuit in Fairfield Judicial District Superior Court to contest the results. Wait, isn't that like insurrection? Just saying. To contest the results of the primary election, naming Ganim as well as the city clerk Charles Clemens, Bridgeport Democratic Registrar of Voters Patricia Howard, and Connecticut Secretary of State Stephanie Thomas as co-defendants. On Wednesday, Judge William Clark sided with plaintiff Gomez, citing significant mishandling of ballots by partisans such as Gator Patake and Martinez. In fact, the sheer volume of evidence was perhaps unprecedented in the state of Connecticut in an election case. Maybe they should go back and look at 2020. The judge said, the evidence here has involved hundreds of applications and ballots, thousands of hours of video of drop boxes, testimony of partisan actors, assertion of privilege against self-incrimination by Miss Getz Patake, pleading the fifth is a bad move here, and Miss Martinez, and analysis of ballot numbers, particularly in the voting districts linked to Miss Gator Patake and Miss Martinez, Judge Clark wrote in the 37-page ruling. How much crap did you have to spew for a 37-page ruling when you know it was probably typed in single-spaced? Holy crap. That's bigger than my thesis would have been if I would have continued on to the point where I had to write one. I'm just saying. Mayor Ganim was also called to testify in the case and said he was shocked, he tells you, by evidence including an 18-minute video of possible absentee ballot fraud committed by his supporters. Mr. Ganim was correct to be shocked at what he saw in the video clips. The videos are shocking to the court and should be shocking to all parties, Judge Clark concluded. The judge, however, was not convinced that improperly stamped absentee ballots from the primary election should have been tossed, as Gomez attorney Bill Bloss had recommended. An assistant town clerk testified that the official stamp with city clerk Charles Clemens' signature on it had broken, and while Judge Clark indicated that the city should have taken steps to rectify the issue of the broken stamp more quickly, he added that the court recognizes the practical realities on the ground. Though Clark refused to nullify the absentee ballots without Clemens' stamped signature, he did rule that a new Democratic mayoral primary election was warranted. He then gave attorneys 10 days to confer with state and local officials regarding a new primary election. While Gomez is celebrating Clark's ruling a victory for the people of Bridgeport, quote unquote, That victory complicates the general election for Bridgeport mayor, scheduled only for November 7th, which is a scant 5 days from now. Ganim will still be listed as the Democratic nominee on the ballot, while Gomez will be listed as an independent candidate. David Hers will be listed as the Republican. Wait, I'm confused by this move because I thought they just said they had to redo their primary, so they're going to list him as a third party on the... Anyway. Lamont Daniels is also running for mayor of Bridgeport, and his campaign website refers to him as a Democrat. It's unclear what party affiliation he will have on the ballot if he appears on the ballot at all. Bloss, Gomez's attorney, speculated that the Connecticut Examiner... speculated to the Connecticut Examiner that the city will likely host another primary election in December, if and only if Mayor Ganim wins re-election. If one of the other candidates prevails in the general election, the city will likely scrap the primary election do-over. Bloss also suggested that Gator, Patake, and Martinez may even face criminal prosecution at some point. That would hardly be a first for Gator Patake. She already will likely face criminal charges for alleged voter fraud in connection with the 2019 Bridgeport mayoral primary race, a race that Ganim barely won after a significant absentee ballot dump late in the evening pushed him over the top. So I'm just kind of putting this out there. Does this sound familiar to anybody? Does it? Because isn't this exactly what happened in 2020? There was a large ballot dump in key cities overnight in most of the cities where they mysteriously stopped counting. Does anybody not think that this game plan in 2019 might have made it to the Biden camp by 2020? And it worked well in 2019 and 2020, so they tried it again, and this time they got caught. I'm sorry, I'm giving you live reaction to this article because I only read like the first paragraph. I was like, okay, we have to talk about this. So the further I go down this thing, the more I'm like, this was the entire roadmap they tried to use in 2020, and it worked. So anyway, so I got your back, Mayor Gator Patake, once assured Gannon in a video of a mayoral campaign event. Yeah, she's got his back all the way to the ballot box because she won't stuff that bitch. And Ganim himself, who was first elected Bridgeport mayor in 1991, served 7 years in prison for accepting... What the hell? For accepting bribes and kickbacks while in office. After he was released, he won his old mayoral seat back in 2015, followed by re-election 4 years later. Gannon is still considering whether to appeal Clark's ruling. In the meantime, he is encouraging local residents to get out the vote in the general election next week. He has to, because now they can't stuff the ballot boxes for him anymore. The following videos from a primary day back in September before Ganim was declared the winner. Gomez was leading in the vote count at the time this news report aired. I don't know, I hadn't listened to this. I'm just going to drop this in the chat. So if you guys want to, you can check out the video later. Because like I said, I gave you my actual genuine live reaction to most of this article. And all I'm saying is this is the exact roadmap they used in 2020. And the thing about it is, all they really had to do was do it in key states. Anyway. So, yeah. Here's that, by the way. So yeah, I thought that would be an interesting one to open with, because I'm like, holy crap, this kind of is probably exactly what gave them the idea to do what they did in 2020. Because the ballot fairy showed up and won the day for Biden. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I still do not see any way that man got 81 million votes. I just don't. At least not valid votes. He's barely ever had an approval rating above 50%. And he's underwater now. he's even further underwater than anybody wants to admit because of the fact that he's pissing off the extreme left. Anyway, so we have lots more to cover tonight, so let's move on to the next bit here. Hang on. Gotta go back and find it again. Oh, so this was scary. I heard about this morning, actually. Somehow I missed it last night, but I heard about it this morning, and then I listened to it again, because I had to make sure I heard it right. Remember when I told you they did all the shit they did with COVID on purpose? Remember? Listen to this.
There's new evidence Dr. Anthony Fauci helped deliver a coronavirus strain to America a year before the pandemic. Documents uncovered by the White Coat Waste Project show that in 2018, Fauci's goons went to the Wuhan lab, bottled up a virus, and then brought it to a lab in America. Then Fauci's team went to a roadside zoo in Maryland and grabbed a dozen Egyptian fruit bats, threw them in the back of a van, and then took the Egyptian fruit bats across state lines to the middle of nowhere, Montana, and then spliced them up with a coronavirus. Fauci Frankenstein bats on our soil a year before the pandemic. But then he acted all shocked when the virus started spreading. Remember? Our scientists said, oh, this is natural. Some pangolin sneezed at a wet market right next to the Wuhan lab. The government knew the Wuhan lab was playing with the viruses. We played with them there, too. We played with them here. We funded it. We trained Bat Lady. How many times do I have to say we trained her? But Fauci and his goons tried to play it off like they'd never heard this before. Just lock down, shut up, and wear a mask. Justin Goodman is the senior vice president of the White Coat Waste Project. You're telling me they grabbed a bunch of bats from a stupid Maryland zoo on the side of the road, drove it into the middle of the country, and started experimenting on them with coronaviruses?
Unfortunately, that's the sad truth. Fauci is a felon and a fraud whose bloodlust for torturing animals in laboratories was so unquenchable that they were rounding up bats from zoos, rounding up pet dogs even in some cases, and kept an island of thousands of monkeys off the coast of South Carolina just to torture and experiments. And obviously, as we saw with COVID, going around the world and collecting dangerous, incurable viruses and stockpiling them and manipulating them in laboratories is a recipe for disaster, and it's only a matter of time until we have another pandemic on our hands, courtesy of the NIH.
So Fauci grabs a virus from the Wuhan lab, grabs a bunch of Egyptian bats from Maryland, and then mashes them together in Montana?
Not only that, but Batwoman from the Wuhan lab and Peter Daszak from EcoHealth were the ones who went into the caves in southern China and found this bat virus in the first place. Then it was shipped to this NIH lab in Montana. Now, let me add, the kicker is that this lab in Montana, this government lab in Montana that was overseen by Fauci, still exists, has a history of infected animals escaping, people getting into the laboratory, unauthorized people getting into the lab, and bioweapons development. Yet NIH is about to spend, or currently spending, $125 million of COVID relief funds to expand its bat labs.
Wait a second. We're using COVID money to grow more bat labs? You've got to be kidding me.
It's an accident waiting to happen, and we're funding it. And add to all of that the NIH nominee from the Biden administration, who's about to take over the NIH, just told Rand Paul in a hearing that she supports gain-of-function experiments on animals. She supports funding labs in China and other enemy nations that are completely unaccountable to American taxpayers.
Okay, lock her up. Lock Fauci up. Lock everybody up in Montana that's responsible. Lock up the stupid zookeeper in Maryland. Let's just try to save as many lives as possible and keep everybody out of these labs. Great work, great research. Keep the heat on these guys. The only way we're going to shut these dumb labs down is we expose them.
I hate being right. I swear. I think me and Loftus and about a handful of other people, anytime we have a chance, just tell everybody we are in the longest, most painful I told you so ever. ever. Now again, I said this last night, and I'm going to say it again. Anthony Fauci needs to be held accountable, but at this point, so does Donald Trump, because at some point, Donald Trump started being told at least some of this. Or he needs to be able to prove that he wasn't. One of the two. I don't care which one it is. If they kept him in the dark, he needs to come out and say that. If he had no idea how, I mean, I would say hip deep, but it's Fauci. He's a fucking midget. Neck deep, Fauci was in all this stuff, then he really needs to just start telling people, but like, look, I got snowed. I get it. His mentality type, his ego won't let him do that. But he needs to start being honest with the American people, especially because he's still apparently drastically leading in the polls, at least at the national level. Now, if you look at the breakdowns, and Stacey mentioned some of this last night on the whatever program, if you look at the breakdowns in the key states where the primaries are about to kick off, if you look at the likely votes plus the, not necessarily sure I'm going to vote and might vote for this guy, then, or this girl, then the person that's actually leading, or at least tying with Trump, is DeSantis. Because everybody's like, well, he's not necessarily my first choice, but he is my second choice. And look, again, I don't know how any of this is going to go. Because Donald Trump is facing indictments everywhere. He's going to be tied up in court right around the same time that he's supposed to be, on the campaign trail, etc. And in modern times, there aren't surrogates anymore. This stuff wouldn't have been a big deal back in the day, because back in the day, they didn't expect the president to be everywhere because it took so long to get places. So he would appoint people to be his surrogate, which honestly is why I think Vivek GPT is in the race. I think he's actually a Trump surrogate, but anymore, most of the time when I hear from him, it seems like he's happily and busily jumping the shark as much as possible. Giggity. Just saying, double entendre intended. But yeah, so if you thought from the beginning, like Stacey and I did, that there was something really hinky with all this stuff going on, and the more we heard about it, the more we tried to tell everybody, and the more we got stomped down, which is one of the reasons why we stopped doing the original morning show that we were doing, because that was back during the days of everything COVID related being just ground into the dirt, and it got to the point where the only people that even knew we were doing the show were the ones that could still see our tweets and showed up in the chat room. The funny thing is, now that the algorithms have been at least somewhat removed, those shows are actually catching on fire again. It's kind of weird. But anyway, it's weird how occasionally you'll get an update and be like, this show was listened to 500 times this day. I'm like, what? That show hasn't been... anyway. But yeah, so, longest, most painful, I told you so ever. Which is probably what I should have called the show, because so far we're 2 for 2, because everybody kept saying, there's no election fraud in America. Really, a judge in Connecticut says you're wrong, Skippy. Because if it's happening at the local level, I guarantee you it's happening at the national level, because there are no national level elections. It's the same mechanisms. And again, if it worked for them in 2019, there's no way in hell that the Biden team didn't hear about how they managed to do that. Just saying. Alright, so we gotta take a break. Actually, we'll wait. I was gonna try to take one at 25 and then go again at 45, but I only have like 16 minutes to the 45-minute after one anyway. So we'll just skip that break. They can't yell at me, I'm the boss. And if they yell at me, I can just tell them to shut up. Anyway, so let's move on to the next topic, shall we? These first couple of topics I thought were going to go faster than they did. But it is what it is. I'd rather have too much material than not enough. Let's see, what else we got? Oh! Yeah, we got to play this one. You guys have got to hear this one. Hang on.
Doing a quick petition to help Hamas free Palestine. You're all in? All right. Oh, yeah, you're in? Easily. I just have to read terms and conditions just so you know what you're signing. Okay. By supporting Hamas freeing Palestine, you agree to the following. You agree that every Jew, Christian, and non-Muslim in the world must be slaughtered. I don't know about that one. You endorse making homosexuality punishable by jail or death. Oh, no, I don't. You don't agree with that? You believe Iran should use Palestinians as puppets to spread radical jihad and destroy the West? No? No. I'm glad I read the terms and agreements. You support strict Sharia law, which bans women from showing their knees, hair, playing sports in public, not being able to travel without a man's permission. I'm sorry, yeah. Not interested? Oh, okay. You want a terrorist group that beheads babies and rapes girls to replace only democracy in the Middle East? Not sure that's something to support. So if I sign, I agree with this? Yes. Baby, no. No? Okay.
Oh, no. Thank you. No. I don't support any of these two things that you just read to me, so then I won't be able to sign this then.
That's fair. No, thanks for not signing. Yeah, all right.
That was put out by a group called Facts for Peace. So basically, he did the whole man on the street thing, went to a bunch of different people and said, hey, do you support freeing Palestine? And they're like, yeah. So he's like, well, let me explain to you, if you sign this petition, exactly what you're signing up for. So that's what you heard, is a bunch of 20-somethings being explained exactly what it means when they say they're pro-Palestine. And they didn't like it very much. They didn't like it very much at all. Honestly, it was good enough. I almost want to play it again, but I'll be nice. Because I've listened to it like 4 times already today. So I was like, oh my god, somebody did it. I actually wanted to do that, but it's been so cold I didn't want to get out. That may actually be something I start doing for the morning show, is start going out and just randomly, interviewing folks and be like, do you mind if I talk to you for a second? Yeah, just do the whole Jesse Waters man on the street thing. I don't remember who it is that he has doing his man on the street stuff now that he's got his own show, but he used to be, I think it was O'Reilly's man on the street, if I remember right. Way back in the day. I think he's the one that did it for O'Reilly. Anyway. So, this is not really in my notes, but it's something that I feel like I need to complain about. I don't know if any of you guys watch Newsmax, but I don't know when the hell they decided they were going to get so big for their britches that you couldn't watch their shit anymore on places like Pluto or even YouTube without first verifying that you had some sort of a cable subscription and then paying $5 a month. No, thank you. Nope. Not going to do it. Wouldn't be prudent. Look, guys, I get that everybody's trying to find a way to make money without, having to rely on big sponsors, everything else. And I understand that. I support that. I really do. But, look, it's a news channel, for God's sake. Come on, man. Anyway, so yeah, I actually am in a group where everybody was complaining about that today, so I pulled up Pluto, and I'm like, wait a minute, I think it's still on there. And according to the guide, it was, so I'm like, hey, look, I think I found it. So then I turned it on. Turns out it's now something called Newsmax 2, which is basically their hosts doing video podcasts on a separate channel. So that's what you get for free now, if you have Pluto. But if you want to actually watch the Newsmax 1, which up until today I didn't even know Newsmax 2 was a thing, you now have to have a cable provider that carries it and be willing to pay for it, apparently. Now, I haven't tested the YouTube part out because I just haven't yet, but I heard somebody complaining about it, that even with cable they were wanting like $5 a month, and I'm like, I don't know about all that. But anyway, look, it's their channel, they can do what they want, but they just shot themselves in the foot because they weren't that competitive to begin with. And I'm saying this is a really small fish in a ginormous pond. They weren't that competitive to begin with, so I don't know when they suddenly decided that they were worth all that. So congratulations, Newsmax, you've just cut what audience you had probably down by about 75%. So I hope that decision was worth it to you. Apparently I forgot to silence my phone. So we've talked about this before, but I kind of, you've heard me talk about it, but I kind of feel like you need to hear it from somebody else. So we're going to play this real quick, and then after this, we'll probably take the break.
Talked to Congressman Comer last night. Part of the discussion that's been going on in oversight is how much more kind of material is out there during the 3 weeks in which we were kind of in search of our new speaker. I mean, one of the silver linings was that the attorneys were able to continue to kind of probe and get those bank records and connect the dots. And it's not very complex. This is absolutely a money laundering scheme that now has been verified with bank records. And I think it puts the president in a position of having to answer the question. So between oversight and judiciary, we'll see how we get there. But I think it certainly, once again, underscores the idea that we're heading towards some type of impeachment.
Oddly enough, that just for the record, that clip was actually from Newsmax. Because, why the hell not? But anyway, so in case you've been living under a rock, they have now found, yet more proof that Joe Biden has had money laundered into his account that originated from China. And of course, everybody on the Democrat side was like, it's not a big deal. He wasn't even in office and blah, 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 blah. It was his brother repaying a loan. It's not about his brother repaying it. It's about where his brother got the money to repay it from. And here's a clue, ladies and gentlemen. They call it money laundering for a reason. You don't have to launder things that are clean. Just saying. I mean, I said this morning. Unless you're Adrian Monk and you have OCD and you take all your doorknobs off for no reason at all and put them in the dishwasher just to make sure they're super fucking clean, you don't have to launder things that are clean. They call it money laundering for a reason. The money is dirty when it comes in, and then it's untraceable and clean when it comes out. That's what money laundering is. So the fact that they keep saying this is obviously money laundering means there's something there. You can support and condone the Biden crime family all you want, but I've been saying this for a very long time. These people were projecting everything onto Trump that they already knew they were doing. And it was both the Clintons and the Bidens, because they've done the same things. I'm just saying. Alright, so one other quick hit before we go to break, and this one actually kind of annoys me. Actually, let me see if this is the one I think it is. Yeah, it is. Hang on.
Now we could be in full control, among many other misjudgments. I have opposed efforts to ban deadly weapons of war like the assault rifle used to carry out this crime. The time has now come for me to take responsibility for this failure, which is why I now call on the United States Congress to ban assault rifles like the one used by the sick perpetrator of this mass killing in my hometown of Lewiston, Maine. For the good of my community, I will work with any colleague to get this done in the time that I have left in Congress. To the people of Lewiston, my constituents throughout the 2nd District, to the families who lost loved ones, and to those who have been harmed, I ask for forgiveness and support as I seek to put an end to these terrible shootings. In the days to come, I will give everything I have to support this community's recovery. Thank you.
Alright, so I just want to kind of read that to you real quick on the way out to break. This is from a Republican by the name of Golden. I have opposed efforts to ban deadly weapons of war like the assault rifle he used to carry out this crime. The time has now come for me to take responsibility for this failure, which is why I now call on the United States Congress to ban assault rifles. First of all, can somebody please tell me what an assault rifle is? By definition, because any weapon is capable of being used in an assault. A rock is capable of being used in an assault. A butter knife is capable of being used in an assault. As part of a use of force continuum training that I went to, we were urged to carry a number 2 pencil always in our uniform shirt, because, you know, there's spots where you could put pen on one side, pencil on the other, because if worse came to worse, not only did you sometimes have to sketch things out in pencil or make quick notes, but if you were ever to the point where you were in a hand-to-hand situation, that pencil could be used as a weapon. You were trained to put it in someone's eye if necessary. Every weapon is capable of being used in an assault. Your fists can be used in an assault. So when they start using terms like assault rifles, assault weapons, they're not talking about the big scary weapons with all of the accoutrement that make them look like they're freaking weapons of war, because that's really what we're talking about. There's really not much difference from an AR-15 than there is a standard hunting rifle, except it has the ability to have a magazine, and it looks kind of scary. I've said this before, I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to say it again until it starts to sink in. We don't have a gun problem in this country. We have a violence problem in this country. And we have a violence problem because everyone from the moment they are born until the moment they die anymore is told by society, by movies, by TV, by schools, where it is that they don't fit in and why it is that they should be either ashamed of who they are because of what the color of their skin is, or how they are a victim because of what the color of their skin is, or their sexual orientation, or any of the other now millions of things that they throw at children on a daily basis to make them feel less than. They want them to feel less than on purpose. They need them to feel less than on purpose, because then, as adults, they start looking to the government and saying, please help me, I can't do this on my own. That's what they've been doing now for a generation, and it's working. What I take responsibility for, the reason I am doing the things that I do now, the reason I speak out everywhere I can, the reason I talk to everyone I can, is because I was asleep at the switch when all of this was happening. It happened on my watch. It happened on your watch. It happened on our watch. We were too busy going and trying to find our version of the American dream, not realizing that the whole damn thing was being euthanized in front of our eyes. Because that's where we are right now. The American dream and American society is about to collapse in on itself because it cannot sustain its own weight anymore. And that's where we are. So unlike this moron who wants to blame an inanimate object, let's start talking about the actual problem. Weapons are not the problem. The fact that we don't respect one another anymore is the problem. The fact that we view everyone as an enemy anymore is the problem. It's maddening. Alright, I gotta take a break or I'm gonna blow a gasket. We're close enough anyway. Alright, so we are gonna take a break. We're at about the halfway point. We'll be back here in just a few minutes, so stay tuned. You're listening to the America Off the Rails show right here live on KLRMradio.com on our new home Thursday nights. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, and drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you, see you, see you.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is, if getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
A new year means it's time for a new home network that can keep up. With Cox Internet, you have the speed and coverage your family needs to stay connected. You'll enjoy Cox's fiber-based hybrid network with options for fast upload and download speeds. And if your household has lots of connected devices, Panoramic Wi-Fi may be the perfect fit thanks to its additional control features. Plus, with advanced security on Panoramic Wi-Fi, you'll know each connected device is securely protected 24/7. A whole world of connectivity is yours with Cox Internet. Learn more at Cox.com.
Welcome back into the program, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I am Rick Robinson. This is the America Off the Rails show. New home Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here live on KLRradio.com. Same network. The only thing that's different is the night we air on. And don't forget, coming up in just a few minutes, we will have the Culture Shift with Brad and Amish, and then Brad and Orty. I call him Amish. They call him Orty. I don't know. Anyway, and then after that, we will have Jen and Rick. We were supposed to have Loftus on with us tonight, but he's on a plane because he got invited to come play on Gutfeld again. He's like, I'm sorry, I keep having to reschedule. And he was like, dude, I would bail on my own crap if Fox would invite me, so don't feel bad at all. Because I love you guys, but if I got to go play on Fox even once, I'd be like, that's it. I find somebody else for the night. I'm out. Anyway, all right. So that's happening. But Jen and Rick, as far as I know, is still on for the night. So I'll be back with Jen to close out your night. I'm gonna take about an hour break and eat because I'm starving. But before we move on too much further, there is something that I want to share with you guys, and I haven't really had a chance to up until now. Good friend of the show, Gene Baradelli, is back to doing hot takes on YouTube. This one is called This Week in Democracy. Dumbmocracy, D-U-M-B. If you haven't checked it out yet, I encourage you to do so. And if you haven't checked it out yet, you're about to get a few minutes of a sneak preview. Because, well, honestly, it's long, and I could technically play the whole thing, but then I would only have, like, 8 minutes of showtime left. I don't know, because it's like 30 minutes long. But I'll let it run for a few minutes just to kind of give you guys a taste of what he's up to. So then you can go find him on YouTube.
Vicious. You didn't care about people in nursing homes. How dare you suggest such a vile thing?
Ain't nothing changed, nothing new here to see. This ain't nothing but some political maneuvering. America. Welcome to the eulogy, eat it up. It's called political buffoonery.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome to This Week in Dumbmocracy, where we showcase some of the dumbest newsmakers of the week. Now, in case the accent didn't give it away, I'm a native New Yorker, born and raised in Brooklyn. I'm proud of being a New Yorker. I love New York. I love the city of New York. It's in my DNA. It's a part of me. That's why I'm completely infuriated to see an irredeemable buffoon like Andrew Cuomo trying to rehabilitate his political persona in interviews this week. It's got my blood completely boiling because he's going around trying to rewrite history about his mismanagement of COVID-19, which resulted in tens of thousands of lives lost. I am hot under the collar about this one, folks, which is why I'm bringing receipts, and I'm going to show them all to you. But before I do, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and if you like what you see and hear in this video, please smash the thumbs up button, like, comment, share the show with your friends, because that feeds the YouTube algorithm. Andrew Cuomo is literally the poster child for the irredeemable buffoon, the radioactive buffoon that taints his legacy based upon the body of work of his actions. Look, I'm not plugging the book right now, but look, he's even right there. He's on the cover. The great John Panisi did a great job capturing his aura. You see that green radioactivity around him? Because he infects everybody around him with this irredeemable legacy of his. And we're going to discuss part of that right now. Now, like I said, Andrew Cuomo's on this rehabilitation tour trying to rewrite history about his handling of COVID-19, among other things. He was on Bill Maher. He was also on a radio show on WABC for 2 hours in the People's Republic of New York City. And he, like I said, he's trying to rewrite his legacy when it comes to COVID. I'm going to show you sections of these videos where he's talked about COVID-19, and interspersed in these videos, I'm bringing receipts with dates and times and legal actions taken by the Cuomo administration that Cuomo wants to memory hole. He's laid low for about 2 or 3 years now in the hopes that you've all forgotten how badly he mismanaged the pandemic. I'm not going to let you forget, and I hope you share the video so that others don't forget about Cuomo's irredeemable behavior as well.
Governor Cuomo, knowing what you know now, is there anything you would change about the way you would administration handled COVID? Okay, that's the question we didn't get to. And I was going to read you the ProPublica statement, which they basically said New York was the only state. Now, of course, the scandal, the issue involved that people don't remember is that, obviously this is the beginning of the pandemic. Everything was chaotic. We didn't know what was going on. But we did know this. It mostly affected the elderly people, like most pathogens do. They were the most vulnerable.
And that's just common sense, right? Whenever you have a virus that's contagious, it's going to affect our most vulnerable in society. And that's our elderly population, especially our elderly population who are being treated medically in concentrated areas like nursing homes, like hospitals, and places like that. But apparently the Cuomo administration didn't have common sense.
So you allowed people who had been in the hospital, older people from a nursing home, now they go to the hospital, to go back into the nursing home without testing them. That ProPublica says you were the only state to do it without testing them when they went back into the nursing home, and that's what caused such death in the nursing home.
Yeah.
Is that true?
No. Short answer is no.
The short answer is Cuomo is lying, and let me show you. So what you're looking at right now is a timeline of relevant events I compiled from early on in the pandemic. You see here, March 3rd, 2020, after the first COVID case was reported on March 1st, the New York State Legislature expanded Governor Cuomo's emergency powers by amending New York State Executive Law 29A. What is that? Well, it states, quote, subject to the state constitution, the federal constitution, and federal statutes and regulations, the governor may, by executive order, temporarily suspend specific provisions of any statute or parts thereof of any agency during a state disaster emergency if compliance with such provisions would prevent, hinder, or delay action necessary to cope with the disaster or if necessary to assist or aid in coping with such disaster. Basically, the legislature gave Cuomo a blank check. And that research by ProPublica was spot on. It goes on to say, quote, no suspension or directive shall be made which is not in the interest of health or welfare of the public and which is not necessary to aid the disaster relief. So this was a statutory limitation on Cuomo's emergency powers. He had to act in the interest of health and welfare. Well, we're going to be asking whether or not he did that to see maybe if he exceeded the bounds of this amended executive law. So in terms of actions that the Cuomo administration did take, we're going to skip ahead to March 25th, 2020 specifically. Cuomo's Department of Health issued an advisory stating that no resident of a nursing home shall be denied readmission or admission solely based on a confirmed or suspected diagnosis of COVID. And by the way, don't just take my word for it. You can do the research yourself. All of the advisories and the executive orders are up for public viewing. For example, here's the advisory concerning nursing homes and the actions that they should take. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of it here for you and just highlight this part. It's already underlined. No resident shall be denied readmission or admission to the NH nursing home solely based on a confirmed or suspected diagnosis of COVID-19. It's there in black and white. Cuomo also issued Executive Order 202.5, which allowed nursing homes to forego comprehensive patient assessments, other requirements to receive a patient order prior to receiving someone back from a hospital, and nursing home admission policies and procedures. He just allowed people to go back into nursing homes without a physician order or any sort of patient assessment. So all they had to do was say, they're out of the hospital, you have to take them back in, regardless of whether the COVID diagnosis remained or was suspected. It all led to thousands of people being exposed to COVID, and overall, approximately 15,000 people in nursing homes dying as a result of COVID-19. And by the way, while we're looking at Cuomo's reactions in real time during the pandemic, Cuomo actually claimed in April of 2020 that he didn't know about his own Department of Health's advisory. That's pretty incredible, don't you think? You're the man where the buck stops. You're supposed to know what your own administration is doing. Your Department of Health is running advisories. dealing with the life and death of people, holding their lives in their hands, and you claim to not even know about it? I refuse to believe that. I don't think people in the Cuomo administration sneezed without Andrew Cuomo knowing about it, especially during a global pandemic, the likes of which we'd never seen before. Let's listen to the rest of Cuomo's answer on this.
You say what we knew. First, this is Monday morning quarterbacking by which I could make the New York Jets champion, right, if we could do this?
He's making light of the deaths that resulted from his policies. I just want to point that out to everyone. This is why he's completely irredeemable. You knew enough to know that old and infirm people are susceptible to catching viruses. That's all you needed to know.
When COVID started, it was, all the disinformation was amazing, right? It was coming from China, wet market, zootropic virus. It was going to California and state of Washington. So we banned travel to China, from China. It turned out that China had already spread it to Europe. All the European flights were coming to New York, JFK. So it had been here for months.
This has nothing to do with his decision-making concerning nursing homes. Remember the question that Bill Maher asked? He was asking about specifically his policy with nursing homes that was reported by ProPublica. He's tap dancing right now.
And it was astronomical. When we first found out about it, and Scott can appreciate this, they were projecting we would need 150,000 hospital beds to deal with the number of infected.
I remember.
We only had 50,000 in the entire state of New York. So we
did it to free up beds.
We were afraid of losing hospital beds, but people who were in hospitals, who were considered medically stable, who were tested, were sent to nursing homes if the nursing home said they could treat that person in a way that protects the other people in the nursing home.
That's completely untrue, and I'm going to show you right now. So what Cuomo was talking about here was whether or not his advisory was taken as a directive or not. Here are two quotes I want you to see. The first one is from Christopher Laxton from the Society for Post-Acute and Long-Term Care Medicine. He's one of these people that advocates for nursing homes. Quote, on its face, the advisory that I just showed you and talked to you about nursing homes having to take in people who were being readmitted after a COVID diagnosis or having been suspected of having COVID, on its face, it looked like a requirement. The nursing homes we spoke to, and again, he's an advocate for these nursing homes, felt it was a mandate, and a number of them felt they had no choice but to take COVID patients. So when Cuomo says that, oh, nursing homes were free to turn them away, that's complete and utter bullshit. Here's another quote from Richard Malott. He's the executive director of Long-Term Care Community Coalition. Quote, there was little reason for nursing homes to think they should only take in patients if they have the ability to do so safely, because those rules are not generally enforced on a regular basis. Andrew Cuomo is hiding behind semantics. It's clear that those in the field at the time, the people in the arena, the people in the nursing homes, it was their feeling, based upon the tenor of the advisory and the executive order that we discussed earlier, that they had no wiggle room to deny readmission of COVID patients. Andrew Cuomo's interpretation of his own rules is 2020 hindsight. It's Monday morning quarterbacking himself. He was accusing everybody else of Monday morning quarterbacking, but that's exactly what he was doing.
And that was a way to make sure we had enough.
But it didn't, did it? I mean, they also, I mean, the same organization, ProPublica, says you counted the number who died differently. In other words, you only counted the ones who died in the nursing home, whereas many people came from the nursing home and died in the hospital, and you didn't count those. You only counted if they died in the nursing home, which they felt was deliberate.
Well, let me not get weedsy with you. Every day I did a briefing, and every day we collected information from hospitals and from nursing homes. And we printed two numbers on the screen every day. This is the number of people who died in the hospital. This is the number of people who died in the nursing home.
So we're going to get into the weeds a little bit now about the July 2020 report. Let's dig into what's being discussed here. So in July of 2020, the New York State Department of Health issued a report on COVID-19 in nursing homes. So let's talk about the numbers that were originally reported. Originally, in July of 2020, the Department of Health said that 37,500 nursing home workers contracted COVID between March 1st, remember that's the date of the first reported case, and quote-unquote early June. Very nebulous in stating that. It also states that 6,236 patients were readmitted to nursing homes.
Alright, as much as I love Gene, we can't keep listening to him talk all night, or you guys could just go watch that and finish out the night instead of listening to me. Anyway, so if you weren't aware, he is live and actually posting videos quite often. Actually, I may make that a fun part of the Friday morning show from now on, because you got a couple that I was laughing my butt off about. So, and they're not quite as long as this one. So anyway, we're going to take a quick break, come back and finish up the final segment of the America Off the Rails show right here live on KLRN Radio. I'm Rick Robinson. We'll be right back.
It's my own design. It's my own remorse. Help me to decide.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop-up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, and drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you. See you, see you.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is, if getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $3 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
If you prefer real mornings, shouldn't you have a real breakfast? At McDonald's, we get real about breakfast. That's why you can have a savory sausage biscuit with delicious hash browns for only $1.50. It's time to wake up breakfast. Single item at regular price. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
To the room of people who have rooms of people that they love one day docked away. Just because we check the guns at the door doesn't mean our brains will change from hand grenades. You love another psychopath sitting next to you. You love another murderer sitting next to you. You think I'd get here sitting next to you. But after all I've said, please don't forget. All my friends are heathens, take it slow.
Welcome back into the program, ladies and gentlemen. Final segment of the America Off the Rails show on our brand new night here, Thursday nights, KLRNradio.com, 7 p.m. Eastern. Again, this will be the 90-minute week. Next week we'll only have 60. But it's not like you can't get enough of me in the mornings and on several other shows that I'm involved in one point or another. So this came up in the chat, so I thought it was important that we find this because, you know, after having, you know, Cuomo's COVID record kind of brought back fresh in our mind, a certain former president who I've said all along really has answers that he needs to be giving about COVID, and he's refusing to. This is what he had to say about not only Cuomo's handling of COVID, but Ron DeSantis' handling of COVID. Oh, hang on, I forgot I muted it because when I was pulling audio, I realized my mic was hot. Hang on.
When the Ron DeSanctimonious facts come out, you will see that,
God, I hate that
he's better than most Democrat governors, but very average at best compared to Republican governors who have done a fantastic job. How about the fact that he had the third most deaths of any state having to do with the China virus or COVID? Even Cuomo did better. He was number 4. He shut down everything, including the beaches. Other Republican governors didn't do that. They kept it open. It was their choice. I gave them all their choice. The Democrats blew it big. A lot of Republican governors did a fantastic job. And look at Disney and what a mess it is. Could have worked out an easy settlement. But no, he wanted to show the fake news how tough a guy he is. He's not. And the whole Disney thing is really very unfortunate. Now thousands and thousands of jobs are being stopped, and a lot of people are very upset about it.
Mom, can you make sure Kathleen Kennedy's not under my bed, please? If you haven't watched it yet, you really, really need to. I'm just saying. All right, let me mute this real quick before it starts making all kinds of noise again. So Ron DeSantis' COVID-19 pandemic policies were worse than those implemented by former Democratic New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, according to Donald Trump, against his new GOP presidential foe. DeSantis officially joined the 2024 GOP presidential candidate race Wednesday evening, so this is an old article, by the way, during a highly touted Twitter Spaces appearance with Elon Musk. Yeah, it's even pre-name change. That led to praise and criticism as the number of viewers who flooded the platform servers led to technical failures and jokes of it being a disaster, of course spelled like his name. The Florida governor was already 25 or more percentage points behind the former president in various polls, with UK-based betting company Betfair lengthening DeSantis' odds of becoming president from 5-1 to 11-2 following the Twitter announcement. Anyway, so when Ron DeSanctimonious facts come out, you will see that he is better than most Democratic governors. Okay, you guys already heard all that part, so I guess we don't really need to go over that again. But yeah, I thought it was important that you hear, the guy who basically spearheaded all the COVID crap, who eventually figured out or should have been able to figure out that he was being hoodwinked, now slamming his main political rival, and even praising Cuomo, who just weeks prior he eviscerated. So, yeah. I am team anybody but Biden, so if he gets the nomination, I will pull the lever, because I feel like I kind of have to. But, again, in a world where things made sense, which we don't live in one of those anymore, let's just be completely honest, the person that would be leading this pack right now would be DeSantis, with probably Haley a close second. And I have big issues with Haley, because a lot of things are coming out about how she's handled Chinese land grabs in her own state. I have problems with that. I have problems with a lot of things. I have problems with finding out that our politicians are on Chinese payrolls and Russian payrolls. This is not acceptable to me. These are the things that need to change. And in the last few minutes that we have, one of the last things that I want to talk about is this new speaker, Mike Johnson. I may have been wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Not about Matt Gaetz, but about them being able to find somebody better than McCarthy. I may have been wrong. I'm still reserving judgment, but I will say that so far I like a lot of the things that he says he's trying to do. I like the fact that he is trying to separate the Ukraine funding from the Israeli funding, and that he's trying to find a way to use money that we've already earmarked to pay for it, which I went over that with in the morning show, with the IRS screaming it would make things worse, and the CBO saying, well, it will make things a little bit worse, but not as much as you think. And then he comes back and says, only in Washington, D.C. can you save money by reapportioning it to another idea and them still count it as a loss. And he's not wrong. But the scariest thing about Johnson, and this just tells you how much the establishment hated him. One of the first things that they put out about him was how he's basically just your everyday average American, living paycheck to paycheck, has a mortgage, and has very little savings. And we're all like, and? I'm just thinking, I would kind of prefer those type of people be in D.C. because they understand more about what it is that we're going through than these people that have had this lifelong career and padded their wallets all the way through. Look, now that I'm officially retiring, I am figuring out all the tricks on how to make my money work for me and padding my wallet. So I'm not begrudging anybody who's doing that. I am begrudging the way that a lot of them seem to be doing it, because they are selling influence to foreign countries. This is why Biden is being looked at so heavily. This is why the Clintons should have been being looked at so heavily. This is why the Obamas should have been being looked at so heavily. Hell, there's now Obama's chef has died under very questionable circumstances. Nobody seems to be asking why that would be. So we have this new speaker who is basically not a millionaire, living quite a modest life, and the first thing that everybody says is, well, I don't know if he should be the guy in charge of the purse strings. I would kind of much rather have a guy that's like me in charge of those purse strings, because he just did what the rest of us do. There's something that we absolutely have to do, and we can put something else off until later. So he's literally robbing Peter to pay Paul to make sure Israel gets the money that they need. If that is not how most Americans live their lives, I will eat my hat. Because I know I have to do it all the time. I'm like, okay, so I have X amount of dollars to the end of the month, and this absolutely has to be paid, and this can wait until later. So let's pay this now, and I'll call them and be like, okay, this is what we can do. So we all do that. We all do that. At least until you start figuring out that the system is rigged and you find out how to rig it. And once I do get all this figured out, there are tons of people that are putting all this stuff out for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I think once I get it all figured out, because what I'm doing is there's all these people that like give you little bits and pieces of the best things to do for free, and then they'll like, and now to get the whole story, please insert $999.99. No, thank you. So what I've been doing is going to all these different places that give you little bits and pieces of it for free, because I'm really good at research, and then researching it on my own. And when I get it all figured out, I think I'm going to do something kind of similar, but I'm going to do mine for dirt fucking cheap, because with technology the way it is now and what I'm finding out, pretty much anybody can be a millionaire at this point if you know how to do it. And it's all about structuring things the right way. So yeah, I have all kinds of things that I'm working on behind the scenes, and once I actually battle test it for a while, if it works, then you guys, especially you guys in the chat, will be the first ones to know, and you might actually get the masterclass for free, because a lot of you have helped me keep this thing going while it's been running on a shoestring. And if we can actually build a powerhouse base of income and kind of work together, we can take over the world. No, not really, but we can finally buy KLR and Radio Island and just get the hell out before everybody glows in the dark. Which honestly is kind of my goal. I'm not even kidding about it anymore. Now, that's one of the reasons why I've gotten serious about trying to figure out the best ways to organize the business, the best ways to organize. Because here's the thing. I'll give you this part for free. Figure out whatever side business you want to run, whatever it is. Let's say you have a goal of being like somebody that travels and then talks about where you go on YouTube and TikTok. So you start an LLC. And then you basically start building that LLC in the most generic name possible, so you can fold all the different ideas that you have up under that LLC. And by the time you're done, you've got an LLC folded into an S Corp, and you've bought term life insurance policies for every one of your kids, little by little. Every one of your grandkids, little by little. I'm sorry, not term, whole life, not term. Because term you can only sell off in certain ways. But the thing about the whole life insurance policies, especially if you start with your grandkids, for those of you that are old like me, those will gain money their entire lives. So you put a trust in charge of those, and the trust can slowly kind of, when they have things that they need to take care of, the trust can dole out money when it's needed. And the funny thing about those is it's like you get a loan from your life insurance, which isn't taxable, but the policy itself acts like the money's not gone. So you're still drawing the same amount of interest that you were drawing before. And like I said, these are just the things that I'm starting to slowly piece together, and I really wish I had paid more attention to stuff like this in my 20s, because my world would be entirely different now. I'm just saying. But I'm only 50, and if I play my P's and Q's right, I have at least maybe 30, 40 more years. And in that time, I'm going to slowly figure out how to corner my little or take over my little corner of the world. And for those of you who are interested, as I figure out how to do this all, we will take the journey together, little by little, piece by piece, as I figure it out. And if not, that's fine too. But yeah, I'm tired of working for other people. I'm tired of having to live paycheck to paycheck. And I'm slowly but surely, after doing this for years, finally starting to figure out how it is that the rich people do half the stuff that they do. You have two schools of thought. You have the Dave Ramsey approach, which is basically pay everything off, debt snowballs, all that. You know what? That's awesome. And if you can do that, more power to you. But rich people don't do that. They leverage debt because you don't have to pay taxes on debt. Just saying. All right, we're going to get out of here. Culture Shift's coming up next. I got to give them time to do a changeover. Unfortunately, that means we have hit the point where I have to tell you this particular show is over.
What? Over? Did you say over? Nothing is over until we decide it is. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Hell no!
Closing time. Open all the doors and let you out into the world.
This isn't over until I say it's over!
Closing time.
Well, that's great. That's just fucking great, man. Now what the fuck are we supposed to do? Game over, man. It's game over.
I'll tell you what you should do. Stay tuned for the Culture Shift right here live on KLRN Radio. Don't forget Jen and Rick coming up right after that. So stay in your seats, bitches. Or don't. It's up to you. See you later.